Dhammapada verses 13 and 14. Nanda Thera Vittu. The story of Thera Nanda. While residing at the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi, the Buddha uttered verses 13 and 14 of this book with reference to Thera Nanda, a cousin of the Buddha. Once the Buddha was residing at the Veluvana monastery in Rajgaha when his father, King Suddhodana, repeatedly sent messengers to the Buddha, requesting him to visit the city of Kapilavatthu. Accordingly, the Buddha made the journey in the company of 20,000 arahats. On arrival at Kapilavatthu, he related the Vissandara Jataka to the assembly of his relatives. On the second day, he entered the city, where, by reciting the verse beginning with Odite Nepamajeya, that is, one should arise and should not be unmindful, he caused his father to be established in Sotapatti fruition. On arrival at the palace, the Buddha recited another verse beginning with Dhammangare Susaridam, that is, one should practice the Dhamma and establish the king in Sakadagami fruition. Sakadagami fruition means Sakadagami phala, fruit or fruition. This immediately follows Sakadagami Megha, which is the second Megha or the second stage of enlightenment attained by one who has practiced insight meditation. After the meal, he narrated the Sandaginari Jataka with reference to the virtues of Rahula's mother. On the third day, there was the marriage ceremony of Prince Nanda, a cousin of the Buddha. The Buddha went there for alms and handed over the alms bowl to Prince Nanda. The Buddha then departed without taking back the bowl. So the prince holding the bowl had to follow the Buddha. The bride, Princess Dhammapada Kalyani, seeing the prince following the Buddha, rushed forth and cried out to the prince to come back soon. At the monastery, the prince was admitted into the order as a bhikkhu. Later, the Buddha moved into the monastery built by Anathapindika at Jeta Park in Savatthi. While residing there, Nanda was discontented and half-hearted and found little pleasure in the life of a bhikkhu. He wanted to return to the life of a householder because he kept on remembering the words of Princess Dhammapada Kalyani, imploring him to return soon. Knowing this, the Buddha, by supernormal power, showed Nanda the beautiful female devas of the Tawadinsa world, who were far prettier than Princess Dhammapada Kalyani. He promised to get them for Nanda if the latter strove hard in the practice of the Dhamma. Other bhikkhus ridiculed Nanda by saying that he was like a hireling who practiced the Dhamma for the sake of beautiful women, etc. Nanda felt very much tormented and ashamed. So, in seclusion, he tried very hard in the practice of the Dhamma and eventually attained arhatship. As an arhat, his mind was totally released from all attachments, and the Buddha was also released from his promise to Nanda. All this had been foreseen by the Buddha right from the very beginning. Other bhikkhus, having known that Nanda was not happy in the life of a bhikkhu, again asked him how he was faring. When he answered that he had no more attachments to the life of a householder, they thought Nanda was not speaking the truth. So they informed the Buddha about the matter, at the same time expressing their doubts. The Buddha then explained to them that previously the nature of Nanda was like that of an ill-roofed house, but now it had grown to be like a well-roofed one. Then the Buddha spoke in verse as follows. Verse 13. Just as rain penetrates a badly roofed house, so also passion, raga, penetrates a mind not cultivated in tranquility and insight development, samatha and vipassana. Verse 14. Just as rain cannot penetrate a well-roofed house, so also passion, raga, cannot penetrate a mind well cultivated in tranquility and insight development, samatha and vipassana.